What is going on, everyone? Pat Infante back today with another video. In today's video, I'm going to go over with you what my plans are for spring and summer and how you could apply it to your training. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, this is a split that I'm going to be running for spring and summer of 2022, which is the year that we're in. But the main takeaway here needs to be my thought process and why I'm running this split and what my goals are and what you could take away and apply to your future training. Yes, if you want to run this split, I will make it available on my website and I will link it in the description below. However, like I said, the main takeaway here is what I want you to understand is what I do and why I do it. Most importantly, I'm a big fan of periodization, where every period of training should have a goal that bleeds into the next period that has a different goal. And I believe that's how progress is made, especially once you're an advanced lifter. So this is my plans for spring and summer, and most importantly, like I said, why I plan them that way. So let's go over my goals. First off, my goal for summer, ultimately to balance a fitness lifestyle with a guilt-free social summer. Being invited to barbecues, things like that. I found in the past, trying to remain lean, that has put a stressor on. I'm not going to stress about that this summer, or at least I'm not going to try to. I'm going to just be smart about what I do and try to live a guilt-free social summer, so to say. I'm going to prioritize smaller muscle groups, shoulder width, so like side delts, rear delts, abs, calves, arms, which I never prioritize arms. It's probably been the first time in a decade that I'm going to actually make arms a priority, but we're going to switch it up. I'm going to try to slowly continue to lean out while accruing lean tissue in previously mentioned smaller muscle groups. And yes, you can gain muscle in a deficit. It's called having a positive nitrogen balance. You could go on Wikipedia. It tells you all about it. But you can gain muscle in a deficit. Is it ideal? No. Is it optimal? No. But can it be done? 100%. Absolutely. No question about it. And then ultimately, I'm going to set up larger muscle groups for September through December mass gaining phase by lowering the total sets, the volumes. But I am going to use some hard sets on those muscle groups throughout the summer. But then when fall comes, we're going to ramp up the volume, ramp up the intensity on those larger muscle groups. So my strategy ultimately, diet and training, it's Sunday through Friday. I'm going to try to, be in somewhat of a deficit to balance Saturdays when I enjoy life a little bit. I'm going to try to only drink 1 day per week. Granted, that might change sometimes, but that's the strategy, typically going into it. And ideally this summer, I want to dive more into moderation. There's no real need for double-digit drinks at 42 years old on a regular basis on a Saturday night. That usually leads to 2,000 plus calories at 2 in the morning. When vacations come up, I'm going to purposely overtrain going into them, and then I'm just going to take the entire vacation off, physical and mental deload essentially, and that's pretty much it. So now, with that said, let's get into the actual training program. Okay, so as far as the training goes, it's going to be broken down into 6 sessions. Now, do you have to complete them all in 1 week? No, I would just follow the progression, each training day, take the next session, and then just rinse and repeat. You can run 6 days a week. I mean, I'm probably gonna, if not 7, but you don't have to. So let's start with, I always start with leg day, lower day, in all my phases. So I'm going to pull squats from the training period, just give my lower back a little bit of a break. And again, legs really aren't the focus here. I call these, the way it's set up, like maintenance plus. Yes, they're hard sets. We know you could do about 1/3 of the volume and 1/3 of the weight and maintain the muscle that you have. So this is going to be harder than maintenance, so to say. But again, it's not the priority. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to start with 2 sets of dumbbell lunges. I'm probably going to drop the weight down to like the 35, something that's, well, I don't want to say easy, but something that I can get a pump from, doing 2 sets of 16. That will be my starting point. And then, there'll be hard sets, but not nowhere near failure, I would say. But I want to have a pump in my legs and glutes when I'm done with those 2 sets. And I'm gonna start at 16, and each training session that I come back and do this workout, I'm gonna up it. So I'll start with 2 sets of 16, 2 starts of 17, all the way up to 20, and then I will up the dumbbells by 5 pounds, rinse and repeat. From there, I'm gonna run into leg curls, whether it's lying, seated, whatever you prefer. I prefer lying. 2 hard sets, 2 failure. Same thing with leg extensions, 2 hard sets, right to failure. Those need to be staples in every leg day. And then I'm gonna use the leg press machine, not so much the plate loaded normal leg press, because I feel the machine is less fatiguing, and it is probably less effective too, if we're being honest about it. But at the same time, at sets 20, 25, I'm not gonna take them to failure, but I'm gonna have 2 good hard sets. Then that's gonna run into my prioritized muscle, which is the calves. And basically I'm gonna run, a calf raise of choice. It doesn't matter whether it's standing, seated, donkey calves, whatever you like. I'm doing 5 sets, good reps. I wanna keep the reps northward of 10 into highs 25, but I wanna fail on each set. Definitely, we're gonna run these to failure. And then we're gonna do some body weight calf raises, and we're gonna find some type of a ledge. The preacher bench is typically good for this, forward facing it. Usually there's that bar, that support on the bottom of it. You wanna find some type of a ledge and do body weight calf raises. And you wanna do a set very good, very slow, under control, especially eccentrics, to failure. You wanna feel a massive burn. From there, you wanna step off for a good 5 to 10 seconds, probably 10 seconds, let the burn subside, and repeat. Do it again till failure, until the burn you can't take. Give it another 10 seconds, go back, do that a good 3, 4, 5 times, whatever you can stand. And that's how you get calves to grow. Granted, if you're like me and you got the high insertion points, there's only so much you could do, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't give it all your effort, right? And that's a very good calf workout. From there, upper day number 1, we're going to start with dumbbell lateral raises, okay? But we're going to do hard sets. First set, good hard set of 15 to 25. And then sets 2 and 3, we're gonna do what I call run the rack, meaning taking it past failure. I have a video here, actually. This is a good hard set to failure, essentially past failure. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with the 20-pound dumbbells here. And I'm gonna run them till I can't get them out to the side anymore. And then I'm gonna almost turn it into like a front upright row, which actually here it looks like my form breaks down a little bit, but it's a weird camera angle. Essentially what I'm doing is instead of going here, I'm stronger in the position of going like an upright row here, and then I'm gonna take that to failure. What I'm gonna do from there is once I fail on that, I'm going to then drop those weights down to the 15s, do the same thing over again. I'm then gonna drop the weights down to the 10s and do the same thing over again. Down to the 5s, down to no weight, just using my arms until I literally can't do them anymore. And that's 1 set. This set here lasted 2 minutes. So you do 2 2-minute sets after that first set, and that's how you get your shoulders to grow. Believe me, shoulders are one of my weak points for the longest time, until I realized you just literally have to kick the crap out of your side delts and your rear delts to get them to grow. Front delts, I don't believe they require a ton of volume as long as you're doing pressing type movements. There's a ton of overlap. I mean, I do 2 to 3 sets a week of some type of overhead dumbbell press for front delts, and that's more than enough with all the chest work I do. They get their fair share of work in. It's really the side delts and the rear delts that are going to contribute to width that's going to cause them to grow. But that's pretty much what I wanted to show you there as far as that goes. Now let's get back into the workout. So that's where we're gonna start. Now, once we do that, we're gonna go into a flat bench. And to give you an idea with flat bench, we're gonna reduce the weight some. For me, I can easily do a set of 225. Well, I don't wanna say easily. I could confidently do a set of 225 for like 12. So what I'm starting this at is I'm gonna start day 1 of this mesocycle at a set of 10 at 185, 2 sets of 10 at 185, which will give me a pump. And then I'm going to take that 3rd set, which will just be 135 on a bar to failure, just to push blood into the muscle. And I'm gonna have a massive pump when I'm done because I'm gonna rep out that 135 to just about failure. And then I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna up it by 1 rep each workout. up to 12. And then I'm going to up the weight, probably go from 185 to 205, then probably to 215, and then to 225 if chronologically we get there by the end of summer. From there, after that's done, I'm going to run some type of chest fly variation, 2 sets, taking them to failure at a weight that you could fail anywhere between 15 and 25. So pretty good high reps. You're going to have a massive chest pump after those 5 sets. Then I'm going to go into back, some type of a high row variation, meaning you're pulling, kind of more across the top of your upper back, which will get some rear delts, some mid to lower traps in there. Some type of high row, whether it's a T-bar or one of those isometric row machines, using the top handles, not the side handles. I would say take 3 sets of that to failure at a pretty good weight with a rep target of 15 to 20. From there, I would say, some type of cable row. I prefer standing cable row, but you could do a seated cable row too. And 2 sets of that. And then I will have my 1 seated dumbbell overhead press set in there, maybe the 35s or the 40s. Just 1 set that you're failing northward of 20 reps. Taking 1 set to failure. Again, I don't believe you need to do a ton of overhead presses for front delts if you're doing chest work. There's so much overlap. And then I always end up every upper day with 2 sets of some type of a shrug. I prefer dumbbell shrug in that 12 to 25 range, pretty good. Third training day is going to be abs and arms. And since we're going to prioritize abs here, I'm putting abs first in the workout. Typically everyone always does them last, and typically I do too. But it's time to switch things up a little bit, and we're going to actually train them first. And we're just going to do 8 sets of any kind of weighted ab crunch of choice, whether that's cable, whether it's one of those machines that you sit in. I don't care. But take 8 sets to failure. Start at a lower weight or higher rep and just keep up in the weight. Take them all to failure. Maybe on the 8th set if you want. Drop the weight back down. Run it out high. Just 8 ridiculously hard core training sets. You can even split it up amongst 2 different exercises if you want to. As far as arms, I'm going to take the plate-loaded preacher curl. You can use any kind of preacher curl. You can use a barbell curl, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm going to take 4 sets of that. The first one, a hard set in the 20 to 25 range. Get the blood flowing into the muscles. Lighter weight, 1 to 2 from failure. And then I'm going to take 3 sets right to failure. From there, I'm going to run 2 sets of some type of hammer curl. You can use cable. I prefer dumbbell. Again, in that 15 to 20 set. And then for triceps, one exercise that I definitely don't do enough that I'm going to prioritize here is skull crushers. And I'm just going to do every workout for arms. My tricep training is going to be 6 sets of skull crushers, which is also going to hopefully, when I go back to doing more cable type tricep work, which I've been doing for ages, in the fall, it makes that more effective because then at that point I won't be as used to it as I am now. Whereas right now I'm not 100% used to skull crushers, so it's a good time to throw those in. And I can tell you just from doing a couple workouts, those 6 sets of skull crushers, pretty much taking them to failure with the easy bar really gives a nice pump in the arms. And that's pretty much my abs and arms day. From there, I'm going to repeat the leg day just the same. It's the same exact leg day that I had detailed in the beginning. Upper day number 2 is going to be a little different. I am going to start with only 2 sets this time of a dumbbell lateral raise. I might do a warm-up set real quick, but nothing fatiguing. And then I'm going to, again, run the rack 2 times, be done with it. From there, I'm going to run into an incline bench. Again, using the same methodology that I detailed out in the flat bench. Drop the weight pretty light and just keep inching your way up. And then as far as the fly, I'm going to do something that's more of a low to high fly, which kind of is a little bit different of a motion, but it's also a fly. Usually cables, are best for that. Some type of standing cable from the bottom and cross them up. Then in the back, we're going to do cable pull downs, your traditional, you can do pull-ups too, but your traditional, some type of pull down movement, and then back to 2 sets of the rows, which is again, 5 sets of back. This time only 2 sets of rows, 3 sets of a pull down. Then this is where I'm going to throw in some rear delt work. I'm going to do a rear delt fly, 3 sets, all to failure. You could even use drop sets on these. My thinking is in the first upper workout, I want to get my rear delt work in with some type of a high pulling motion up here, which will get the rear delts good. This time we're not doing so much of a high pull, so this is where we're going to add in the rear delt isolation work. And then again, like all my upper workouts, 2 sets, dumbbell shrugs, pretty much to failure. My last ab and arbs day is going to be about the same, except that we're just going to flip-flop the use of skull crushers first, the tricep first, and then finish up with the bicep work second. And that's pretty much it. My plan is to run that pretty much right through Labor Day. And then from there, I'm going to write a new plan. And now we're going to prioritize mass gaining. You know, in the fall, the winter, I find that, you know, naturally your calories, if you average it out, do rise a little bit with the holidays and everything. So it's a good time to prioritize trying to add, you know, lean tissue onto some of the larger muscle groups. You know, in the summer, if I'm training in a deficit, trying to remain lean, if you're going to try to add lean tissue, do it on these smaller area muscles, right? If you think about it, it logically makes sense. And then when you have that calorie surplus, that's a good time to really just pack some muscle on some of the larger muscle groups. So that is my plan for summer 2022. I hope that you could take away some of the thought process behind why I do what I do. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment below. If you like this video, please click the like button below. Please subscribe to my channel. Plenty of future content to come. You can visit me on Instagram. You could always visit me on my website, www.eat4abs.com. Pat Infante signing out.